I'm Alice and I'm here with another video today talking about another strange topic. If you haven't seen my video already, this one, I made a video talking about my condition, sort of my disease, what I was born with, called osteogenesis imperfecta, and it's basically me just breaking my bones really easily with a lot of other things on the side. So if you haven't checked it out, go and do that. And in that video, I talked about me in the future making a video about my broken bones. So here is that video, or it could be the first video. Most likely it will be the only one. We'll see what you think about it. If you are not comfortable with sort of stories about broken bones, there will be no videos, no nothing. It's just my stories of what has happened throughout the years. So it shouldn't be too graphic for anyone. But if you don't like that, you should skip this video. And for the people that can handle it, here are my top 5 most memorable moments with broken bones. I haven't had any surgeries with my broken bones, or like basically at all. So I'm really lucky, and I talk about all these broken bones as complete, like they're broken, but in reality there's mostly just fractures, and most of them are really fine as long as I just wear a cast or I don't use that hand, foot, bone for a while. It'll be fine. So I know that many people with OI, they need surgery either for being able to walk. They can get metal in their body to be able to walk, or they need surgery because they were broken bones in much worse ways than I have. So I just want to say before this video that I'm really lucky. I have just had sort of nice breaks in a way. Some of them were like traumatic for little me, but they weren't that bad. So these are just my most memorable moments. I feel that we should start from the beginning, and I'm going to talk about my first broken bone as far as we know. So this is where the whole title just falls apart, because one of these are not broken, the first one is not even memorable because I can't remember it. It was most likely the first ever bone I broke, and I first time heard about the story having another break sitting in the hospital, or what do you call it? Emergency place, where you go when you have broken bones to get an x-ray. I was sitting there with my dad and he told me about it. So I can't remember this one, but it happened, most likely, as if it even happened. It happened when I was 2 years old. And I just started walking, and I was in the living room. All this comes from my dad. He says that I just started walking and I eventually fall like kids do on the floor. I was trying to walk and I fell down. And after that, I stopped walking. I started crawling again. I was only 2 years old, remember? And I don't know why, if it was actually broken. I don't think they ever went to the hospital with it. I know we went on a holiday, and several times I've seen video of me. They're trying to hold me in my arms and trying to make me walk, and you can see that I'm just refusing to walk on one leg. I just sort of jump around on one leg, or when they ever let me go, I just sit down again and start crawling again. So I'm pretty sure that something in my foot that time broke, and it is most likely my first ever break. It's a really short story. The first one isn't too much. It's not memorable, but it was really memorable hearing about my first break while having another break from my dad. I can assume that being a parent and having a kid that has OI or just like breaks really easily can be really nerve-wracking, because I assume having a kid in general is nerve-wracking, and then being scared of them hurting themselves, and at the same time they can break everything all the time. That must be nerve-wracking. So I think my mom and dad did a good job raising me, not being too careful with me, but at the same time not killing me. if you know what I mean. So yeah, the second one is not really memorable. Are all of these going to be like, these are my top 5 memorable moments, and all of them are like, that one's not really that memorable, and that one's not really that memorable. But they are, though, because I do remember them quite well. Oh yeah, when I think about this one, actually the feelings come back. So yeah, this one is really memorable. The thing is, though I have OI and I can break easily from anything, which I do, I just think in general, on top of that, I'm just really unlucky in stupid ways. And maybe I'm not unlucky and this just happens to everyone, but everybody forgets because they don't break. And I do remember because I ended up ruining the rest of the evening going to get another x-ray as usual. And this one is about, I must have been under 10 years old, still really young, and we went to this sort of evening activity in like a inside gym hall, you know, where you play football and handball and sort of have activities in the evening after school for children. It was at that place, and I never got to the activity, basically. My friend's mother was driving me and my friend, and we were walking out of the car, and I was nearly out of the car, but I hadn't left my fingers from the car door. So I'm about to do it, I'm about to leave, and then my friend's mom slams the car door, like you normally do, into my fingers. All 4 of them. Luckily, only one of them broke. I don't know how, but it ended up being really painful, as usual. I heard some people say that when you have OI and you break so often, it doesn't even hurt anymore. I guess I just haven't had enough breaks for that to happen. I started to stop counting after like 20 fractures or something. Not all of them were like big ones, that's for sure. But I guess I've just been really lucky. But they still hurt a lot, and also just all my fingers sort of are crooked and uneven now. Coming to that one later. Because of that, I've broken a lot of fingers. That's why they look so strange. But yeah, I never know what my friend's mother thought about it. Like, I'm assuming she didn't like that she broke my finger, but I never talked to her again. Like, it was just a mom. I normally don't talk to my friend's mom for that long, especially when I'm like 10 years old or younger. So I don't know, she might not even remember today. It was just another break for me, but it's just, I'm so goddamn unlucky. God damn it, why why couldn't I just unroot my fingers a little earlier? Or she could have just slammed the door a little later and I wouldn't have had a broken finger. But again, just a little broken finger, not an issue. What you do, because it is not dislocated in any way and it's just a fracture, the only thing you do, you go to the hospital, they check it, they tell you, yeah, great, it's broken. You get a little tape and you go around like this for a while with just a healthy finger and the broken finger, and they're best friends for a couple of weeks, and then you are fine. So it's not really a big deal, but still hurts a lot. And then the last 3 ones are the best ones. If I can say that, number 3 is a really really long one. So I was in 4th grade. This I know. 4th grade, it was an hour left of after school, and it was my last year of that. The last hour before summer break, I was really happy. It was nice weather. I was sitting over at the side, as I normally did as a kid, and just playing cards, you know, doing the safe thing. I nearly was ready to go home. My parents were going to pick me up, and I was just playing cards. I was being nice. And then one of the teachers, so one of the adults, said, "You should join the water fight over there. It seems like they're having a great time." And I did for about 10 minutes. I don't even know how long it was. I went for the safe activity over to joining the water fight. It was one of the adults having garden high? What do you call it? Yep. Yeah, that thing. What I realized with these videos is that my vocabulary is so bad. And I even researched words before this video. God damn it. So they were all just running around the water. The whole place was wet on the ground, and it was great because it was warm. And then I stumble across this. This is where I researched the words. Manhole cover? Is that what you really call it? Some people say just cover, and then the translation said manhole cover, and I was like, okay. Anyways, I stumbled across one of those, and did you know if you have wet shoes and that thing's also wet and you run really fast, you can fall and break your ankle? Yes! So I fell and broke my ankle right before summer break. My parents came to pick me up. My dad picked me up. But before he could come, I was able to have this bag of ice cubes on my ankle as it got really swollen, and I had to cool it down. And as a kid in 4th grade, you know what's the worst part is when you're already used to breaking bones? You leaving that bag of ice cubes inside for everybody else to get one each, and you didn't get an ice cube. It was a hot day. I really wanted an ice cube. Like, I couldn't have an ice cream, so just give me an ice cube. It's basically the same thing. And everybody else around there got an ice cube, and I had to leave for the hospital, and I didn't get one. And so many years later, I still think about that ice cube that I never got. Anyways, I ended up in a hospital, and I got a cast on my foot. And the same summer we were supposed to go to Denmark, and so we did. And it was me and my aunt and cousins and uncle and family, and everyone was there in a house with a private pool. And as a kid, having a private pool is really cool. The problem is though, I had a cast on my foot and couldn't use that pool. And we were able to figure out a solution where we put plastic bags around my foot or my cast with tons of sports tape, and I was able to sort of float in the water. But you can't have the cast underwater, so my foot was constantly floating, and I had to use some sort of floaters or something to keep me up, and it was just really, really difficult. You should try that one day. See how much fun you have if you have to have one foot up and the rest of your body up. And see how much fun you're able to have. I probably had fun, but it wasn't the same thing. The problem why it wasn't as fun is because after the first time we did this, I came in and we realized that even though we used 2 plastic bags, and the sort of specialized plastic bag you're supposed to use if you have a cast, the water had still gotten into my cast, and I got up and the whole thing was wet. Not a good idea, is it? No, it's not a good idea. So for the next hour and a half, after being in the pool for a little bit, I had to sit there with a hairdryer and just dry my foot. I had to sit completely still. We did not have a TV. I know we had our laptop with us and I could play Peggle. That was it. It was before we had smartphones everywhere, so I couldn't use one of those. I was just sitting there with a wet cast, hair drying or like blow drying my foot with a hairdryer. And my uncle came over and started showing me card tricks. I still remember that he tried to entertain me with card tricks, which I thought were really sweet. Thank you, Uncle. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, the cast got wet, and a couple of days later, I wanted to swim again, and we did the same thing. More plastic bags, made sure it was airtight or like know what it was gonna get in, and it happened again. We were sure that it wasn't gonna happen the second time, but of course the cast got wet a second time, as well. And we had to do the same thing again. And I guess because it at least happened twice, I don't know if it happened more than twice, maybe just twice. I remember it a lot. Just being so boring. Like, it was just a struggle being in the pool, and then you finally got out of the pool. You just had to sit there with the hairdryer doing nothing. As a kid, you know, you're really restless. So it was even worse then. I think I would have been able to do it fine now. But as a kid, you're like, gotta do something. I gotta run, but I can't run. What should I do? and yeah. So though this is a long story, not just about how I broke my bones, I'm going to be a little bit more pity and talk about the rest of the summer, because it was a really memorable summer for me. Because in Norway as well, it was a really warm summer as far as I remember. And in Norway as well, my grandparents has a pool, a private pool as well. And I took my friends there, and they could all swim in the pool. And because of all the past experience with the cast getting wet all the time, I had to sit on the side and watch my friends play in the pool and until they were done in the heat. And the only thing I could do, I could dip my other foot, like toe, in the water on the side and sort of just, play with the water there. And I remember being really sad about that. Like, you can't do what your friends are doing, especially when it's in a pool, which is freaking cool. So I think I just have to now, as an adult, go and swim in that pool extra much, just to make up for all the time I couldn't play in it as a child, having a cast and all that. And then we have instance number 4, which includes this little finger right here. Again, I'm really lucky. I haven't really broken many big bones. The reason I want to mention this finger is because I can't stand things being dislocated. It's fine having things broken as long as it's in place. Just let it rest for a while, it'll grow. The second things are like out of where they should be. The next 2 stories both include dislocated bones, by the way. I can't, oh God, I can't stand it. Oh, I can't stand it. I really, really can't stand things being dislocated. And luckily, things hasn't been dislocated that much. At least 3 times, maybe more, but I just remember like 3 times. It's not that much. But when it does, calm down. Okay, I can talk about this. So one time, I was with my aunt and uncle and my 2 cousins in a mall, and my aunt and uncle, they had the responsibility for taking care of me. I was still quite young. I can't remember how old, but it was after the 4th grade incident and before the next incident I'm going to talk about, which was in 2013. So I don't do math here, but somewhere between there. And I was just playing with my cousin. We were walking down in the mall, and we're just like sort of playing around, being happy, don't really know what we're doing. But she had her jacket around. It was like just a thin jacket she's been taking off, and she was sort of flinging it around. I wonder if I don't know, I can't remember. What I do remember though is that jacket getting hold of my little finger somehow. I guess it just got stuck in it, and she dragging it back, and the finger being dislocated because of that. Yeah, everything happened really fast. So I don't remember much else than pain and getting to the hospital, which they had to drive me. When we went straight away down in the car. My uncle tried to drive as fast as possible. Driving fast, having something broken and dislocated, you feel every single bump in that road, I'll tell you. But I was able to get to the hospital, and it is maybe one of the most painful fractures I've ever had, actually. Because normally I take all of the x-rays without a problem. I know, be this position, that position, that position, in. Your bone's broken. Congratulations, this is what you do. Cast, tape, home. I know that. But I wasn't even able to get through the x-rays with this one. But first of all, it was dislocated. How am I supposed to like lay it down like that when the bone is in the... Oh, why did I make this video? Oh, I'm reliving everything. So basically, we tried to take the x-rays pictures several times, and normally like pain is fine. I try my best, but it was just impossible. I was in so much pain that I just couldn't go through with it. Because you know, when you take an x-ray, I don't know if you have or not, I know some people have, some people haven't, it takes a little while. You need to have it in one certain position. They have to like sort of adjust the camera thing with little laser X and all of that, and then they have to run out of the room, press the button, wait a little bit longer, and then come back and you can move your hand again, or whatever bone part of your body you're taking x-ray of. So it wasn't just a quick picture and you're done. I couldn't have my finger in that position for that long. So what we ended up doing was getting local anesthesia, which I think is what you call it from what Google said, in my finger. It was a little needle in my finger. The thing is though, I think it's some sort of liquid they put in. At least it should be, because it's just local anesthesia. And my teeny weeny little fingers, they don't even want to focus, look at that. They're super small. So when you put anything into this finger, it blows up. So suddenly, my little finger was twice the size, just full of the whatever they injected. And it was like the weirdest feeling ever. Because I knew the pain I was in, and suddenly I didn't feel anything. It was like a brick. But it was still broken, and it was still dislocated. Like everything here was wrong still, but I didn't feel anything. And so we were able to do the pictures, and it felt so heavy. Like suddenly it was fine. I could do the pictures, the x-ray, yes. But it was like a brick was hanging to my finger and I couldn't get it off. It was so strange. But they found out it was dislocated because it didn't... So other dislocated things I had a toe. That was standing like so. You could see it was dislocated. This one was sort of just there. I think it just like popped up or something. So they didn't see it immediately that it was dislocated. I think they knew, but they had to double check. So they were able to get it in place again. I was like, don't even try to counter anything. Just freaking do it, because I'm going to refuse for you to let this just go on any longer. Anything that's dislocated shouldn't be dislocated. Fucking fix it. And so they did. And they found out that it was still broken after that. Like you had some sort of fracture or something. So I had to wear a cast on my whole hand because of that finger. As far as I remember. Yes, I had to, I think. It's such a long time ago, I didn't even remember. But I've never had a cast on my hand else than that. So you must be in that, yeah. I had a cast on my hand for this freaking finger. And if you see, my normal finger goes out like this. I'm trying to show in the dark. This is how far my normal finger goes. If I show this one, it goes like that. And it's because it was dislocated, and whenever you break something, it heals, but you're not guaranteed that it heals the right way. So we have a little issue here, and sometimes it hurts still whenever I do certain things, when I draw and such, but everything is healed and everything is fine, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm just gonna have this really strange little finger for the rest of my life. So yeah, that is mostly everything about number 4, unless you want to know about my aunt. Poor aunt, I'm so sorry. She and my uncle was the one in charge of me that day, and she can't handle hospitals or things dislocated or broken bones or anything like that, and she really wanted to be there for me. But she nearly fainted, so she had to leave the hospital, because I just didn't want her to get hurt, because I was hurt. So her poor thing had to leave, and I was able to see her later, and then everything was fine. But I just feel so sorry for her. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, Aunt. I'm so sorry. Over to my last memorable moment of, I would say, broken bones, but this one, the last one, is actually not broken. I was so surprised going through everything, realizing it was not broken. Like, am I suddenly a superhuman? I don't know. Because, this little finger here got dislocated, also broken. This next one got hella dislocated, but not broken. So if you don't like dislocated stories, dislocated bone stories, it's about my shoulder. It was not a good experience. Basically, I was skiing, the one going down the hill, not the flat one, the one slalom, this one. And I sort of just did it because I just assume every Norwegian person should be skiing, first of all. And then all my family was skiing, and we're having a good time in the mountain. So I was like, shit, I guess I'll be skiing as well. And so I've been doing for several years. The thing is, though, I like the ride in the elevator chair up the best. That's the best part. And then when I'm at the top, I just need to go back down. And it's sort of just me transporting myself down so I can go back up again in the lift. So I was doing as I usually did. We took it really slow, really easy, just back and forth, And the common rule when you're in the mountain is that the person behind you are the one in charge of what's in front of them. Everyone can't just constantly looking behind them to see if somebody's supposed to hit them, as long as you're having sort of a steady pace and don't do unexpected turns. So I know kids often do that because they don't really have control of what they're doing. They can go straight down and then suddenly just turn, and that's when accidents can happen. But I was really careful about always going steady so everybody behind me knew where I was going and hopefully wouldn't hit me. Hopefully. Reliving this one hurts a lot. Like a lot. But basically what happened is that I was doing my normal thing, going back and forth, and this grown-up man that should be fully in control of what he's doing decided not to take the normal back and forth, nice and steady trip down. He went straight for it. And you know what was straight ahead? And I never saw him coming. He was way too fast. My mom was behind me. She didn't even see him coming. And everything happened super duper fast. But basically, he slammed right into me. I fell over. Luckily, my feet didn't get twisted, because I know that when you're skiing, it's easy for your feet to get twisted all the way around if your ski doesn't fall off. But I landed like this on the ground. Really fast, really hard, and this bone right here is normally up here, and it ended up somewhere here. I'm not sure. I have the x-ray pictures yet, but I'm not going to show them. I don't have them near. I don't want to see them, but I know we have them somewhere, and I have seen them before. So it sort of just boop, out of place in here somewhere. And this was in the top of a mountain. I guess middle somewhere. It was far away from the ground. I couldn't get down. I was just laying there. I could hear my mom yelling at this man. I've heard her being really, really mad 3 times. 2 of them being because I was hurt. Once a mice bit me, and my mom found a tool, the thing you clean the cat litter with, the little shovel, and she hit the mouse until it was dead. And the mouse was inside the house because the cat dragged it in, so this is the cat's fault. Anyway, she was really mad that one time. And then the second time, or another time, was when I got my shoulder dislocated. And I don't know what the man really did. I'm assuming we were there for a while. all of this sort of happened fast to me. I don't think I fainted or anything. I think it's just because it's such a long time ago that I don't remember a lot of it. But I know that eventually my dad got there, my aunt and uncle got there, my cousins got there, my brother got there. I don't think we were at the same place at that time. So we all sort of collected at where I was laying on the ground. And we contacted the people in, like, the health people that are in the ski center. And they got on up to us and they put me on this orange bright looking thing and they skied with me down, so I was just laying there. But I don't know how we were able to do it. Like, I landed like that, but I think I drove down like this or something. Like, I can't just put it down. I can't just put my hand down. So I can't remember a lot of that, but they definitely knew what they were doing. They are so used to all these issues in the mountain. Like, people get their stuff dislocated and probably broken, and even worse, what do I know, all the time. So they are really used to, like, skiing accidents up there. And they got me in the ambulance to the local ski. It's not a hospital. It's like a little hut where they fix it. You know, they got the necessary stuff there for the normal accidents. And they x-rayed everything, and they said 7 out of 10 people just get this one popped in the right location without any anesthesia or anything. You'll be fine. Ooh, do you want anesthesia? This sort of, you know, the one where you fall asleep. I don't know all the medical English words. I don't even remember them in Norwegian, man. Like, how am I supposed to know in English? But yeah, they asked me if I wanted to sleep or not. And I was like, bolt me to sleep. I'm not going through this. And I don't remember much else. I don't know what they did. I don't know, maybe they injected me with something or I breathed in something. I don't even remember. I just remember taking the x-ray at this place after being in the ambulance, waking up and my mom and dad being there. And the first thing I asked my mom and dad was like, do you take any pictures? And my mom and dad was like, no? Why would we take pictures? We were so worried about you. And uncle from the back says, I got him. And my uncles took pictures. And if you're ready for it, these are the only pictures I'm going to show of all of this. So if you don't like it, just skip a little bit of ahead. But we took pictures. It was great, right? So now I have a constant memory of that. That's great. But yeah, everything was sort of not broken, like everything was out of place and everything was hurting like a lot because all the muscles and the whatever majig you have in your shoulder was definitely hurt like a lot. So I had to go for rehabilitation and like training and all of that, but the bone didn't break. I was like, I was in that accident and I didn't break? What? I was so surprised. I have no idea what happened. But I didn't break. It was a traumatic experience, and dislocated stuff are the worst. But I was lucky that time that I didn't have to deal with some sort of broken bone at the same time. So very lucky about that. So yeah, I guess that concludes. I guess that concludes the end of this video. It's just some random stories. These are sort of the stories that just never get brought up in stream. One other one was brought up in stream, how I broke my toe while swimming. So if you ever feel like talking more about this, check out my Twitch channel. We talk there about 3 to 4 times a week. And we also have a Discord channel, and I'm active on Twitter and Instagram, so check out the description for all of that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I see you guys soon. Bye! First thing I realized though, I really need to go to the hairdresser soon. Oh my god. I said I wasn't going to go to the hairdresser because I wanted to be a pleasant experience and not have all the masks and hand sanitizer and all that crap. But seriously, I need it. I think I should go. Either way. So just don't think about my hair today, okay? It's the COVID-19 hairstyle we're going for now in 2020. Get on with the video. Inexperienced YouTuber, experienced Twitch streamer. Sit properly, get ready with, what is his name? That's enough. Oh no, this Winnie the Pooh though. This one I know. Kuma no Poo-san is his name.